Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can see me. Hopefully you can hear me. Thank you, everybody, for checking in right away. I had an appointment after 5 o'clock at home, and then was checking to see how long it was going to take to get this to work. And I had Denise in the background. Yeah, I barely made it. I don't know. Somebody else said they barely made it. But yes, we're all here. Looks like there's still some people not here yet, but that's okay. They'll get here, right? We've got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. Hopefully full night. If not, we'll do some exam coach. I don't know, did Denise do exam coach on Sunday? I don't remember. I don't think she did. No, but that's okay. We can do, it was for muscles. And muscles are kind of tough anyway, because they don't really talk about muscle contraction as much as do different things. Anyway, there was not a relevant quiz. Yeah, that's what it was. Anyway, what I'm thinking is maybe tonight, if we have time, we'll do exam coach on upcoming class for nerds. Just don't tell Denise. So, she's asking me. Like I say, I had her in the back sign in, and actually a massage. Let me just answer here real quick. Why would exam coach not go over well, okay, so it does go over muscles, but it doesn't necessarily go over, it talks about different things than what we went over, like it's just muscles, so they might talk about not necessarily, well, maybe, yeah, insertions and actions, not necessarily muscle contraction is kind of the answer to that. So not review of what Denise went over. So we can try it tonight. Like I say, I like to go over nerves because it's just such a big chapter. Denise goes, yeah, it does seem, it is important. I'm not saying it's not important. And they do touch on it, but it's intermixed with so many other things, I guess. So anyway. All right, get rid of that. We're good. I have my tasty beverage, and we're good. And does anybody have any questions at all before we get started? Just giving. Oh, I'm glad to see Rachel is back. Thank you. Who else? Anybody else? Anyway, happy to be here. Oh, I see one student that's offline twice. So interesting. All right. Oh, good. I'm happy to be here. So once again, what I thought we'd do tonight is do the review for muscle contraction, and then that would be the first half of the class or so, whatever. Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you, David. Yes, I saw that you were offline, and now I see. I don't know how it works with you anyway, but just as long as you're good. Anyway, why is this? It's weird. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm gonna, actually, before we get started, I'm gonna kind of sandwich our our review, we didn't do crash course videos. So I've got 2 crash course videos that I loaded up, and show one at the end, at the beginning, and then hopefully one at the end of the review. So we'll start with that just to get everybody warmed up, because that guy is really warmed up. Anyway, I only got 1 confirmation. I'll check and answer you, Miriam, when the video is going. Okay, here we go.
Romeo and Juliet, Helen and Paris, Tristan and Isolde. These famous star-crossed lovers bring to mind insatiable longing, forbidden love, and tragic separation, and poets and emo rockers love them for it. But you know where else you can find a nice, hot romance? Your muscle cells. They've got their own famous coupling, a pretty pair of tiny protein strands called actin and myosin. Romeo and Juliet may have set a chain of tragic events into motion with their infatuation, but deep down in the cells of your muscles, the hot protein action between actin and myosin is actually literally causing all of your motions. All of them. And I don't just mean voluntary stuff like walking down the street or moving your mouth so you can talk or chew chips, because your muscles also support your weight and help fend off gravity. The amazing thing about your complicated, self-healing, blood-guzzling muscle tissues is that they turn chemical potential energy into mechanical energy, or movement, simply by doing 2 things: contracting and relaxing. And that contracting and relaxing is exactly what's fueled by the constant coupling and separation of biology's greatest lovers. Somebody get these proteins a movie contract. You will recall from our early lessons on tissues that you're kept alive and moving by 3 types of muscle tissue: smooth, cardiac, and skeletal. Your smooth muscle tissue is found in the walls of all your hollow visceral organs like your stomach and airways and blood vessels, where it involuntarily and very usefully pushes fluid and other material around by contracting and relaxing over and over. Your heart is so important that it gets its very own muscle tissue type, cardiac muscle, which looks striped or striated and also functions involuntarily to keep your blood pumping without you having to think about it. But when you hear the word muscle, you're probably thinking of the kind that you see on Chris Evans when he first walks out of that machine in Captain America. And those types, the ones you can see and feel and flex, are your 640 skeletal muscles. They're striated like cardiac muscle tissue, but they're also mostly voluntary, meaning you have to think about using them and activate them with your somatic nervous system. Most of them attach to your skeleton and create movement by pulling bones in different directions as they contract. Each one of your different skeletal muscles, like your biceps brachii or vastus lateralis or gluteus maximus, is technically its own organ made up mostly of muscle tissue, but also of connective tissue, blood vessels, and nerve fibers. And because your muscles are voracious energy hogs, each one is rigged up with its own personal nerve to stimulate contraction, and its own artery and vein to keep it well fed with all the blood and oxygen and nutrients it needs to operate. But to understand those operations, we first need to get a grip on the anatomy of a skeletal muscle, which involves fibers within fibers and lots of layers. Basically, a skeletal muscle is constructed like a really sturdy piece of rope. Thousands of tiny parallel threads called myofibrils squished together to form muscle fibers, which are your actual muscle cells, cells with mitochondria, multiple nuclei, and a cellular membrane called a sarcolemma. Those muscle fibers then form larger string-like bundles called fascicles, which combine to form the larger rope-like muscle organ like your biceps brachii. Overall, this bundles of bundles configuration makes muscle tissue fairly sturdy, but considering how much abuse your muscles take when you do something like pretty simple, like lift a big bag of dog food, it's no surprise they need a little help. That's why every muscle contains a few different kinds of supportive sheaths of connective tissue, the protective reinforcements to keep that bulging muscle from bursting. So that is the structure part of the story. But if you want to get into the nitty-gritty, the down and dirty of how you actually move, well, there are rules. Really just 2 main rules, and they have to do with proteins. And they're both true for a lot of the proteins we talk about, whether they're enzymes or ion channels or receptors or muscle proteins. And these rules are: 1, proteins like to change shape when stuff binds to them, and 2, changing shapes can allow proteins to bind or unbind with other stuff. So keep those rules in mind while we see how a muscle fiber contracts and relaxes. Now, remember those tiny myofibrils that bundle up to form your muscle fibers? They're divided lengthwise into segments called called sarcomeres, which contain two even tinier strands of protein, two different kinds of myofilaments called actin and myosin. And it's their angsty story of star-crossed love that fuels every movement your body could possibly dream up. A sarcomere contains both thin filaments made up mostly of two light and twisty actin strands, and thick filaments composed of thicker, lumpy-looking myosin strands. Each sarcomere is separated by what's known as a Z-line at either end, which is just a border formed by alternating thin filaments in a kind of zigzag pattern. A muscle contracting is all about sarcomeres contracting, bringing those Z-lines closer together. Alright, so now comes the romance. When your muscle cells are at rest, your actin and myosin strands don't touch, but they really want to. Specifically, that club-headed myosin wants to get all up close and personal with the actin. When this happens, and it will eventually, it's called the sliding filament model of muscle contraction. But in the meantime, like in any good love story, the pair have some obstacles to overcome. Namely, actin is blocked by a couple of protein bodyguards called tropomyosin and troponin, which keep getting in the way. Luckily, these guards can be bought off with a little ATP and some calcium. I prefer cash and nachos, but whatever. Remember, ATP is kind of like molecular currency. It contains chemical energy, and your muscles are all about converting chemical energy to motion, so they're always hungry for more ATP. Your muscle cells have lots of nuclei, but some of them also have a lot of mitochondria, whose sole purpose in life is to crank out ATP. And muscle cells also have their own version of an endoplasmic reticulum, the cell's transport and storage system, but in this case it's specialized, so it gets a special name, the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Its walls are loaded with calcium pumps which use ATP to save up a bunch of calcium ions. And it's also studded with calcium channels that are linked to voltage-sensitive proteins in the membrane of the muscle cell. Say I want to move my arm. My brain sends an action potential along the motor neuron until it synapses with a muscle cell in my arm. The receptors on that muscle cell are ligand-gated sodium channels. So when the motor neuron releases our old friend acetylcholine into the synapse, the channels open up and create a rush of sodium into the cell as a graded potential, which, if it's strong enough, causes nearby voltage-gated sodium channels to open. Now I want to take a second and point out here that we're still talking about an action potential, but not in a neuron. This is happening in a muscle cell, people. So that action potential zips along a muscle cell's membrane, the sarcolemma, which has lots of tubes that run deep inside the cell called T-tubules. When the action potential travels down one of those tubes, it eventually triggers the voltage-sensitive proteins that are linked to those calcium channels in the cell's sarcoplasmic reticulum. When those channels are thrown open, the calcium stored inside rushes into the rest of the cell, and finally myosin is like, yes, here we go! At this point, the myosin is totally stoked, because the bodyguards that have been frustrating it are in for a big, irresistible distraction. That's because the protein troponin just loves to bind with calcium, and remember, when stuff binds to proteins, the proteins change shape. So the calcium latches onto the troponin and causes it to pull the other bodyguard protein, the tropomyosin, away from the sites on the actin strands that the myosin really wants to get its paws on. And suddenly it's all, okay. But the only myosin heads that can bind to those newly exposed sites are the ones that are ready for action. That is, the ones that have already grabbed a molecule of ATP that's been floating around and broken it down into ADP and the leftover phosphate. When a myosin head does that, it moves into an extended position, kind of like a stretched spring, still holding on to the ADP and the phosphate, and still storing the energy that was released when they were broken apart. So after all that, with the myosin primed for action and the bodyguards out of the way, the myosin finally binds to actin, and it is beautiful. When they bind, the myosin releases all that stored energy, and in the excitement of it all, the myosin changes shape. It pulls on its precious actin strand, kind of like pulling a rope hand over fist. In the process, it shrinks the whole sarcomere and contracts the muscle. That's the sliding part of the sliding filament model. Now, with its energy spent, that little head has no use for the ADP and the phosphate, so they unbind with it because, remember rule number 2, changing shape encourages proteins to bind or unbind with stuff. That unbinding causes a small change in its shape, which lets a fresh ATP bind there in its place. That binding causes another shape change, but this time it causes the myosin to release from the actin in a tear-jerking scene like some microscopic recreation of the finale from Titanic. But fear not, this epic is not quite over, because this is when the myosin breaks down its new molecule of ATP into ADP and a phosphate, which moves it into the armed position yet again, getting it ready for its next rendezvous. And meanwhile, those calcium pumps are working hard to restock the calcium in the sarcoplasmic reticulum, so they start grabbing the calcium that's floating around, causing calcium to unbind from the troponin. When it unbinds, the resulting shape change puts the tropomyosin bodyguards back into place. It's a circle. Or potentially a big Hollywood franchise with lots and lots of sequels. It keeps repeating itself many, many times every moment while I sit here and talk, and while you sit there and eat and text and take notes, the whole drama replaying itself over and over. Kinda like you'll have to play this video over and over again to get all the little steps of the sliding filament model straightened out. But hey, some stories get better the more you hear them. If you do watch this one again, you will relearn that your smooth cardiac and skeletal muscles create movement by contracting and releasing in a process called the sliding filament model. You'd also relearn that your skeletal muscles are constructed like a rope made of bundles of protein fibers, and that the smallest strands are your actin and myosin myofilaments. It's their use of calcium and ATP that causes the binding and unbinding that makes sarcomeres contract and relax. Special thanks to our headmaster of learning, Thomas Frank, for his support of Crash Course and free education. And thank you to...
And that's enough of that. So yeah, somebody said that they didn't have sound, and I'm so sorry. It happens, you know, and they said they restarted, so that's not good. But that's one of the things I would say. Other than, you know, I don't know, check your volume and make sure it's up enough. But if you can hear me, didn't have sound either. Oh, okay, so that's two. Ugh, sorry. All right, so you can see I've changed to our muscle contraction review. Oh, good. So some people did see it. Not sure what you mean. Oh, skeletal. Yes, I see. Gastrocnemius, an example of striated cells, which are skeletal muscles generally. Yes, but note that it is highlighted in yellow, and anything in this quiz, or I've labeled it quiz review, I guess, would be considered a special note, and you should take a note. Right? That is the first slide. Just it is a gimme, I guess. Didn't know how to form it in form of a question, so I just said, you know what? I'm just going to write this down, noting, you know, the smooth muscle and cardiac muscle, also 3 different kinds of muscle. All right. Hopefully everybody has that with me rambling on, and we can go to the next slide. The next slide would be, what is a muscle contracts when it is stimulated by what? What makes a muscle contract? Raquel answered the exact answer I'm looking for. Even before that, wow, Eric, I think you got quite a typo there, but Alexandra, a little bit before that is what I'm thinking. Yeah, Canada, it's actually before that. Yeah. What is the first thing that has to happen to contract a muscle, have a muscle contraction? Got it, June. Naomi, good job. Okay, so many of you guessed. I appreciate you writing things. Okay, so some of you are going to go, oh yeah, right. What I'm looking for is a nerve impulse. Some of you said nerve, and yeah, you're on the right track, especially since nerves send out impulses, which, yeah, which we'll get into on Sunday. And when I say we, I mean Denise. Okay. Yeah. So it all starts with impulse. Okay. And the idea that this whole thing, by the way, is a chemical reaction by you getting that nerve impulse, and then basically your muscles do this chemical reaction to do this or whatever movement you're doing, is just blows my mind every time I hear it. It's just crazy. And to have it happen like that, that quick, just amazing. Anyway, all right, moving on. Thin filaments are made mostly of a protein called what? What are we looking for thin filaments? Alexandra, first to answer. Very good. Good job, Corey, Miriam, Natalie, June, Teresa. Yeah, you guys are getting it. And we get let's see some audience participation here. So this is thin filaments, not thick filaments. Anyway, everybody else is getting it. Thank you for playing along with me. Oh, and I erased what you said. Let's see about Nancy, Eric. I didn't see her. She is here, but she hasn't said anything. Are you there, Nancy? Let's see, who else? Rachel, see it. You, yes. Okay, so did you answer, or did I just start? No. Yeah, a couple of people still not sure is fine. There you go, David. You got it. All right. Yes, we are looking for actin. Most people answered actin. Right. Oh, were you not here on Sunday? Or anyway, doesn't matter. You're fine. Thank you for explaining. All right. Thin filaments are mostly made up of actin. Ah, I see. Yes, yes. Well, I know you weren't there. So this is a good review, right? Well, hopefully it's a good review. It's a review anyway. Yeah. All right. Okay. So that's thin filaments. Now, thick filaments are made up of, some of you, a couple of you answered this. What are thick filaments made up of? Yeah, if you weren't here, like Rachel said she wasn't, I would strongly suggest you go back and ask the office to send you the recording of it. Oh, no problem, Crystal. Yeah, I'll second that emotion. Yeah, go back and watch it, because it's really cool. Anyway, she had you actually draw out the whole process. Okay. So the answer we're looking for, most of you got it already, is, I feel like a drum roll is needed, is myosin. Okay. The thick filament is made up of myosin. Good. Yes. Okay. So this actually has the answer for the next one, but there's so many things going on. What is it? The elastic filament made mostly of protein. All this is made mostly of protein, but that connects the myosin to the Z line. Oh, Miriam is on it. Good job. Nice job, Natalie. What connects the myosin to the Z line? Yes, it's made up of elastin, but with its name, I guess. Not quite Samantha or Santali or Nina. All right. Okay. Thank you, Ruby, for letting me know. All right. So what connects the myosin to the Z line is titin. Okay. So this you can see down in the lower right corner, this little kind of springy connecting here. And I'm trying to, I think blue would be good. Yeah. So the Z line is right here, which borders, oh, look at how straight I drew that. Oh yeah, if I hold down the shift key, borders the one edge of the sarcomere to the other is what the Z line is. And this here connecting the myosin, which is the blue stuff here, to the Z line. It's tightened. Good. All right. Excellent. Let me change the tool. Yeah. All right. What does the sarcomere do during concentric contraction? Good job, Natalie. Carolyn. Very good. Nice. Good job, Eric. Yes. Okay. Total yes. Oh, I don't know if I've ever had anybody answer that, David. Well, not. It's a good guess, but not quite right. So what happens to the, well, Cynthia, it's okay. It'll hopefully be explained when I give you the answer. Thank you. Okay. Still a number of people maybe checking their notes. Good job, June. You got it. And we're looking at it shortens basically. Okay. So contracted, it notice and out. Okay. So this is resting. All of this. This is not contracted. Okay. Here, this is contracted, and notice how basically the sarcomere, which is all of this, okay, from the Z line to the Z line, okay, it shortens. Notice how long it is at resting and shortening at the contraction. Okay, hopefully that makes a little more sense now for people that didn't quite understand. Good. Okay. Next slide. Having a ball here. Change my tool. Yay! I remembered to change my tool. The sarcoplasmic reticulum, such a big, nice, juicy word. Sarcoplasmic reticulum releases what into the sarcomere? And yeah, I understand, Raquel. I'm sorry. Good. Different ways to say it, but okay. So yeah, once again, Jade, I would go back and watch. You know, you can view it, kind of go through lunch and all the breaks, fast forward it hopefully, but watch the video of the last class. Contact the office; they'll send you the link for it. So yes, the people that say systolic calcium, not sure what systolic is, but yeah, we're looking at calcium and specifically double positively charged calcium. So this is the best illustration that I could find, and it kind of goes into it a little bit more, right? Where it's basically getting the nerve impulse, and we'll talk about this more on Sunday, but coming into the sarcoplasmic reticulum and then releasing all of that into this whole thing is the sarcoplasmic reticulum, kind of a sleeve around the muscle fiber. Okay, it brings in that double positively charged calcium. All right. This can be a really it took me a while to kind of grasp the concept of this whole muscle contraction thing on a middle articular level. Okay, so after that slide, I'm going to say it. The sarcoplasmic reticulum releases calcium, double positively charged calcium in contraction of skeletal muscle fibers. Special note. In honor of the last slide or the last question, give you a little bit of time to write that down or take a screenshot, however you choose, hopefully to get that notes. All right, let me know if you need more time or I'll go back. All right. All right, next slide. Speaking of double positively charged calcium, this double positively charged calcium binds with what to expose binding sites? What does it bind with? Good job, Alexandra. Hmm. Yes. Miriam, nice. Good. Yeah, so to give you a hint, it's two big words that start with T. Some of you are listing out, yeah, that one of the words, I guess. Oh, Rachel, you weren't there and you're still giving a nice guess. That's awesome. I'm impressed. It's not right, but it's a good guess. I'm, I'm just like, yeah, good. I got a ha ha. All right. So some of you said troponin, some of you said tropomyosin, and we are specifically looking for the combination, the complex of the both of them, or TT complex, okay, to bring open the binding sites. All right. Just trying to go over the highlights of, like I say, this whole process of muscle contraction with this chemical reaction. But yeah, that works, Santali. Is it better to just go with tropomyosin? Yeah, I'm I'm fine with actually tropomin. It's yeah, it's fine. CT complex. You get the idea. Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure which is the best way. All right. So we have those thick filaments, okay, which is made up of myosin. All right. So in that context, what is the oar-like projection coming out of the thick filament? Nice. Good. Not quite, Corey. Oh, it's okay. I appreciate you guessing or putting something. Some people are a little shy. Here, nice, good. Not sure. Let's put the answer and make you sure, or make you more sure at least. The oar-like projection coming out of the thick filament. Some people said myosin head, which I think is correct. It's coming out of the thick filament, come over, and so myosin cross bridge is what I put. deal. All right. We're getting there. We're got a few more questions on this whole thing. Okay. All right. So let's switch. After the myosin cross bridge sticks to the thin filament, the bond must be broken. Okay. So it can reattach farther up. All right. So it grabs a hold, pulls. Name the chemicals used as energy to break this bond. Good job, Eric, Samantha, Cynthia, Alexandra. Nice. Joanna. Joanna, not quite. We're looking for a chemical that's used for energy. Okay, what did Denise say is a chemical, and it's used throughout the body, but it's used here in this or specifically. Oh, not quite, Robin. Good guess, Rachel. Almost. Okay. Thank you for answering. If you have, you can still answer. If you're still thinking about it, that's fine. Good job, Nicole. All right. ATP, this adenosine triphosphate. All right. Once again, it's energy used throughout the body, but really used in muscle contraction. All right. And where was, oops, I'm sorry. Some people said ADP. Where was that used? Isn't it it's the precursor to ATP, I think. Am I wrong there? I know there's a whole chemical yeah, join the club, Joanna. I feel your pain. She labeled it ATP, ADP. Yeah, it changes in structure to either from or to ADP. And honestly, right now I don't remember. Okay, but ATP is the answer. And if you need it listed out, I did. I think ADP is the byproduct, right? Okay. So once again, special note. If you know this, you're going to get one question right on the midterm. Make sure you know that. All right, now I'm pretty sure I believe somebody answered. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm going to go back. Somebody wants me to go back. Oh, shoot. Just gave up. I'm sorry. Is this where you wanted me to go, Santawi? Well, if you were watching closely, you got the answer for the next one. Okay, no problem. Got it. Okay. Sorry. Everybody got this, right? Chemical used for energy is ATP. Good. Okay, what is a byproduct of muscle contraction? If you were paying attention this should be a gimme. Because I did go to it. Yeah. Would you have gotten it anyway? Yeah, not quite Alexandra or Carolyn. Interesting that you put that, but yes, that's like for ATP what it goes to, but the byproduct of the chemical reaction of muscle contraction is not ATP. You had it right the first time, Eric. Good, David. Nice. Alexandra, Crystal, Sasha, Gabby, and here it is. I already showed you basically. Good. You didn't even see the sneak peek. Yeah, I really got too quickly with the mouse. All right. So this is kind of a very complicated way here of showing you, and it shows even basically what happens, ADP, ATP. So here it kind of shows the precursor is ADP. I don't know. Anyway, all this to microfibrils to support muscle contraction. And then from here, glycogen to glucose to pyruvic acid. Anyway, to lactic acid. All right. Anyway, you don't need to know all of this. Just know a byproduct of muscle contraction. And know that this isn't like waste, it's just what happens, especially if you really, like you say, you're not in condition and you overwork the muscle, you're going to get a lot of lactic acid and get that stiffness in there. All right, that's what it's going to cause. All right, so that's kind of what I have for a review for muscle contraction. Okay. Oh, wow, we're really flying through this. You guys are doing great. All right. What is connective tissue surrounding a muscle and bundles within it? What type of connective tissue are we talking about? Good. So, that's very specific, Samantha, Alexandra, and Eric. I'm looking for not the names of, well, I am going to be listing the names of them, but as a group of all of them that surround muscle tissue, what are we looking at here? Yeah. Good. Yeah, nobody, let's see. So I would say, Raquel, good. I think that's good. Not quite Teresa. So what here, a lot of are listing the actual names of what's surrounding it here, which I list also here. So you're absolutely right. But as a group of all of them, epimysium, perimysium, are all deep fascia. Okay. Yeah, and specifically, Raquel said deep irregular connective tissue, but fascia is what I'm looking for, and specifically deep fascia. So medium specifically. Oh wait, which one you listed? Yeah. So remember, epimysium is around the muscle, okay, around the a whole muscle, okay, group, all right? Paramycium has the bundles, okay, just a bundle of muscles. And then endomycium is specifically just around an individual muscle fiber, okay? Good job. Good job, Bertie. All right. So I've got a few true or false questions here. It's either yes or no. And honestly, it's okay if just guess one way or the other what you think it could be, true or false, just as long as you say put something, and I'll be a happy camper. Right? True or false? When a muscle contracts, thick filament shortens. Ah, good job, Carolyn. Jaden. Oh, let's see who else. Alexandra. Eric, good job. Corey. All right. Okay, most of you who's not answering. Let's see. I don't want to name names, but there's a few of you that haven't answered. Okay, you would think that it would be true, but the answer is actually false. This is so close to being a trick question. But notice here that the filaments slide by each other, okay? It's shortening the Z line, okay? But the thick filaments remain the same, and but they just slide by each other, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Yes, Santali, I did see your answer. So sorry. Yes, I was just basically calling out the people that put false. So yes, that would be a true statement, Raquel. A and I bands. No, we didn't really get into it. There's so many little categories you can get into. Believe it or not, I think Denise was trying to keep it as simple as possible. So with yeah, it like I say, it's a tough concept, or at least for me, it was really tough concept to grasp. So anyway, I think hopefully it gives you a good idea. True or false? During a muscle contraction, the sarcomere shortens. Okay, good. All right, very good. I've got true, some false. So I hate to say this, somebody's going to be wrong here. Okay, so hopefully, yeah, I'd say most of you put true, which is good. Okay, and this is a true statement. For a muscle cell to contract, the sarcomere must shorten. Okay, one sarcomere between each of the Z lines, it comes together, it shortens. Okay, that's a contracted muscle. Okay, sarcomere relaxed, sarcomere shortened. All right. How are you guys doing? Do you like the true false questions? We've got, I think, 2 or 3 more. Sure. Yeah. Good. Good. Yeah. You got a better than 50% chance of getting this, right? Because you're educated about it now. True or false? A sarcomere goes from H zone to H zone. Hopefully, yeah, I agree, Alexander. Hopefully, most of you get this. Very good. Yes. So, let's see. Yes, I think that's fine. Nancy, we will take a break after the next question. How about that? Okay, good. I'm going to say false. Right. So once it's asked about I band, A band, this kind of shows you what each one is. Right. H zone to H zone is between, looks like the thin filaments. I'm just looking at it. But no, we specifically said the Z line. All right, coming together. So from Z line to Z line. So false would be correct. All right. Let me look at one thing. Yes, of course you were thinking false. All right. Next. Okay, so this is the last true false. We'll do this one, take a break, and then we'll go into the poll questions. So enough of the true false, and we'll actually do multiple choice. True or false? Skeletal fibers always use their energy very quickly. And this refers to specifically something that Denise went over. Very good. Oh, nice. Listed it out, Alexandra. I like it. Good job. All right. So false, because there's slow twitch and fast twitch. All right. Fast twitch, using fuel quickly, short burst of speed. Slow twitch, oxygen for fuel. Remember, Denise used the, was it Kenyan runners, long distance runners? All of them are amazing to me as far as long distance running. I had a student in circulatory once who was like ran 100-mile runs, and it's just amazing how they can do that. You have to be in pretty good shape. Anyway, all right. So yeah, we're about an hour in. So let's go ahead and take a break, get ready for our wonderful, well, self-described wonderful poll questions. So we'll go till 7:15, take a nice little break, okay? All right, everybody. Hopefully you're coming back from break. Raquel, did I answer your question? This is the slide that I would use to explain slow and fast twitch fibers, muscle fibers. Anyway, so hopefully you have it. Good. Thank you. All right, clear my 7:15, and we'll move on to poll questions. Fun, fun, fun. All right, main prime mover of a muscle. First poll question is dealing with that. When you flex the hip, which muscle agonist? All right, here is your poll. Is it iliopsoas, sartorius, hamstrings, or triceps brachii? What is the flexing of the hip agonist? The agonist is the prime mover. All right, coming up on a minute, so let's go ahead and finish up voting. Let's see how close to 100%, and let's close the poll. Please, yeah, just answer if you're not sure. If you're not able to answer, let me know in the question panel. And I'm closing the poll now. So iliopsoas, 2/3 of you. Sartorius is the helper muscle. Hamstrings would not be a hip flexor. Okay, so the main, closing the poll, or do I close it? Hide the results, I should say. And so what we're looking for is iliopsoas. Okay, I'm guessing that's why I didn't get as good of audience participation, is because people were still coming back from break, I'm hoping. Okay, so with that being said, special note would be, if I can find my down arrow, the prime mover of a muscle is called the agonist, okay? Thanks, Derek, for letting me know. The agonist, okay? Note it. Know that the prime mover of the muscle is called the agonist. All right? So, with that being said, the next poll question is, when you flex the hip, which muscle is the antagonist? Yeah, agonist means leader, correct. Yeah, it means prime mover. It means the lead person that that's going to do good in the movie. Agonist, okay. Antagonist is the bad guy. It's the opposition. All right. So good. How we doing? All right. I'm getting a bit more audience participation. Thank you very much. 66%. See if we can make it a little bit better. Okay, closing the poll in 3, 2, 1, and about a little bit better, but about the same. hamstrings would be the antagonist, okay? Not flexing the hip, all right? So closing the pole or hiding the results, I should say, and hamstring. Okay, so that's the one that's, and you know, I say the bad guy. It's really not a bad guy. You need opposition from your flexing to help things hold steady. So it's just the the one that's opposing that. You know. Okay, thanks, Corey. So not a special note, but a muscle's action counteracts that of another specified muscle is the antagonist. And I have the push. Yeah, exactly. All right. So let's go ahead and go to the final one, and you can guess, hopefully, which one that is. When you flex the hip, which muscle is the synergist now? So synergist would be the sidekick that helps out. Um, it's your wingman here. Okay. What is a good helper that helps out everything? Hopefully, we'll get a little bit better results here if I put it that way. Good. Let's go ahead and finish up in the next 5 seconds or so. Try and answer. Okay, you got it, Raquel. I'm closing the poll now. So we did do a bit better. Each time, just a little bit better. Sartorius is our helper muscle, so that makes sense. It helps. It's not a prime mover, but it helps pretty much with everything. Okay. Well, not everything, but you get the idea. It helps with a lot of things. So a muscle whose action assists that of another specified muscle, assists the agonist, in other words, is the synergist. Like I say, the sidekick, the wingman. I think I've never used wingman, but I think it works. All right. Let's talk about isometric contraction. Oh, wait. Can you go back to the bad guy definition? Oh, yeah. Hold on. I'm going to go back. Bad guy definition. Okay. Muscles who counteract that of another specified muscle. Let me know when you get it, Ruby. Like I say, not bad. It's just opposite. Yeah. Well, I said bad guy, so yeah, let's just call it that. I'm okay if you think of those terms. Okay. So once again, isometric contraction. Isometric contraction occurs when, I'm going to bring this up, there's a lot of words here, and I'll read them as I launch the poll. Okay, one, the muscle contracts and develops tension, but does not change in length. Or is isometric the muscle that contracts and shortens, or the muscle that contracts and lengthens, or the muscle that contracts and moves the bone? All right. I'm pretty happy with the results so far. You guys are doing good. Once again, if you're not sure, if you don't know, just go ahead and guess one. Get your best guesstimation. I like guesstimation. You got it, Raquel. All right. Finishing up. Oh, man. I'm sorry. I took way too much time there. Closing the poll. And look at that. 83%. You guys rocked it. And even if you didn't know that it's a special note, isometric contraction, muscle contracts, it's not short. There's no movement. So I got a stapler here. I'm lifting it up, but I'm just holding it. Okay, but oh, it's so heavy. It's full of those staples and it's contracting, but I'm not moving. All right, that muscle is all super tight, like amazing, isn't it? Okay, that's isometric contraction. In my little camera space that I have. Okay, good. Hopefully we have that. Funny, that was the heaviest thing I have around here. The stapler, that's that. Okay, moving on. Next question. During concentric contraction, what does the sarcomere do? Oops, helps if I go to the right panel. Does it shorten, widen, does nothing, or stays the same length? I believe we did this in review already, so hopefully you've got a pretty good idea. All right, let's go ahead and at 66%. I want to get it. I don't know why I can't get better. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, come on. Yes, the last person in there. And shortened 82%. I'm going to call that a success. Very nice. And yes, a special note. So you have movement, okay? The sarcomeres are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. Okay, shorten. Good. All right. Everybody ready for the next question? Here we go. Which of the following neurotransmitters is released in the neuromuscular junction? I don't know if we went over this, but hopefully we did. If not, it's a good review for, we did. Okay, good. Thank you, Eric. All right, is it acetylcholine, epinephrine, norepinephrine, norepinephrine, or fibroblast? Neurotransmitters released in the neuromuscular junction. Got it? Not quite, but Raquel, sorry. And a few more seconds. Go ahead and hey, nobody's perfect, right? It's okay. We're gonna close the poll. and acetylcholine. 2/3 of you got it. Kind of split between all three of the other ones. And acetylcholine. So this is, you can see the nerve and the neuromuscular junction between the nerve and the muscle. That's what we're talking about, where acetylcholine kind of drips down into the receptors of the muscle. Okay, once again, amazing chemical reaction, how this happens, and then you're able to go move. Anyway, hopefully you're as amazed as me. All right. Good, that was not a special note. We're going to move on. Skeletal muscle cells are also called muscle fibers, myosin filaments, myofibrils, or myotomes. What's another word for muscle cell? Denise, definitely what it is. Good. And let's go ahead and finish up. Give you fair warning, another 5 seconds. Go ahead and guess. If you don't know, it's okay. I was hoping I'd be at a little bit higher percentage here, but that's okay. We're learning. And closing the poll. We've got muscle fibers. Just over half of you said muscle fibers, and that's what we're looking for. Okay. So, and muscle fiber. Notice how in the little illustration it says muscle fiber and then cell. So interchangeable. Special note. All right. Hopefully you have that. We'll move on. Next question. Myalgia. What does myalgia mean? Does it mean nerve pain, muscle spasm, mess that up, softening of cartilage? What does myalgia mean? Myalgia is mean. Myalgia is mean. All right. And how are we doing? Oh, good. Let's go ahead and close the poll in 3, 2, 1. Good. Muscle pain, 73%. I'm going to call that a win. Right, results, muscle pain. Okay, once again, myalgia, me, muscle pain. Not nice. I rolled my eyes on myself on that one. Okay. Everybody got it? Hopefully. Next question. The most effective aid for muscle injury is it application of heat packs, splinting with splints or a brace, Swedish massage techniques, or rest ice compression elevation? Oh, I assume you're talking about myalgia, Carlos. Well, I'll come back to it after this. All right. How are we doing? All right. Yes, I'm going to close the poll. Are you guys ready for this? 100%. Nice. I don't know if we've gotten 100% before. I am encouraged. Rest, ice, compression, elevation. I put in Christ also just because I think it's nice. It's another, first 100%. Awesome. A nice thing to do, but really, they tried to change it at one point where because ice, if it's directly on it, can be not so good. So it's anyway, I forget, and everybody freaked out. So we're back to rice like that. All right, I'm going to go back real quick because somebody asked a question. Okay, I want you to. This is. I want to see how many people can use myalgia in a sentence, and I'll pick the best sentence that you put down. So use myalgia in a sentence, and let's see which one is the best. Anybody? Oh man, I can hear the clickboard, the keyboard's clicking so much right now. Oh, that's interesting, Teresa. Yeah, okay, Cynthia is using it too. Nice. I like this. Good job, Joanna, Gabby, Eric. Appreciate it. Cynthia and Cynthia and Teresa. Okay, let's see. Wow, we got a few here. Okay, so a couple of people found it interesting used fibromyalgia in the sentence, which is correct. Okay, it's a combination of muscle and connective tissue, fibromyalgia. How about she suffered from myalgia and she was never able to stay comfortable. My hamstring is flared up, inflammation, and myalgia. Oh, did I answer your question already, Naomi? So yeah, myalgia is muscle pain. Fibromyalgia is, which is another question we're going to be going over in a little bit more. It's a combination. You are suffering from myalgia when you tear your muscle. I like that. Okay, good job. All right, so does that help, Carlos, with yeah, no problem. I thought I'd, rather than just use it in the sentence myself, give you guys a chance. Thank you so much for the people that wrote something. That's awesome. Nice. Okay, so that. We did that. Which of the following best describes smooth muscle? Okay, is it internal organs, blood vessels, involuntary, striated voluntary, cardiac striated, or skeletal striated voluntary? So we're talking about smooth muscle, all right? Smooth muscle. What would work for each one of those? And feeling really good. I didn't even need to say that. I was trying to explain it as best as possible, but you guys got it. All right, how we doing? Let's go ahead and finish up. Coming up on a minute. We'll go over a minute. You got it, Raquel. Good job. And closing the poll. 89%. Excellent. And type results. We are looking at A, internal organs, blood vessels, and involuntary special notes. So yeah, used a lot in internal organs and blood vessels. All right. Notice how they're straight. They're nice and smooth. Okay. I don't know if there are smooth muscles that are voluntary. Mostly involuntary. They work on their own. Excellent. Okay. I'll give you a little bit more time for that one. Okay, good. Let's go moving on. All right. Which disorder is characterized as a chronic pain syndrome that involves complicated combination of related sleep disorders, tenderness and stiffness, endocrine and neurotransmitter imbalances, and emotional state? Oh my goodness, how many words did that take? I read it before I brought up the poll because I truncated it in the poll because there's only certain amount of characters that I can use. Torticollis, fibromyalgia, muscular dystrophy, or tenosynovitis. All right. Very good. Let's go ahead and finish up. Most of you have answered already. Thank you very much. Closing the poll in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. And the results. 70% fibromyalgia. Yes, that is a correct answer, fibromyalgia. All right. Chronic pain syndrome, right, involves combination of sleep-related disorders, tenderness, stiffness, neurotransmitter imbalances, and emotional state. My wife has fibromyalgia, and when it is acute, she is down for the count, just really out. All right, no fun. It's awful, and it really can affect different people different ways. Like say, okay, thank you, Ty. Anyway, know this. You know, somebody asked, is it really bad in the cold? It's it's not cold necessarily. Well, it might be cold, but it's more brought on by her doing overexerting herself. Let's put it that way. She'll overexert herself, and almost every time she, it brings it on. And this is just speaking specifically about my wife, like I say, and it says emotional state. Like Denise said, this can be brought on after trauma, of some sort. Anyway. All right. Next question. What is it when palpation of the trapezius causes the patient to feel referred pain in the head? And is it acupoint, Sun, trigger point, or Subo? And it looks pretty good. This is hopefully, yeah. I don't know if we went over anything else but the correct answer. We can go over any of the other things. So. Yep, you got it, Raquel. All right, closing the poll in 5 seconds. So go ahead and answer if you haven't already. 3, 2, oh, come on, we got it. We're missing a couple of people. Anyway, trigger point, 93%. I had the nice little video that I promised you and Denise showed on Sunday explaining trigger point. And result. And sure enough, special note. Good job. 93%. That's pretty good. All right. Move on in a second. Hopefully I'm giving you enough time to take notes on these things. Or a screenshot once again. Non-use of a muscle for a prolonged period of time can cause what? Can cause hypertrophy, death, atrophy, or melanoma. You got it, Raquel. All right. Go ahead and finish up. 3, 2, 1, and done. Oh, 93% once again. Pretty good. Hypertrophy. That would be what? Overextension of the muscle, I'm guessing. Sorry. So this is a nice, I think, illustration of an atrophied muscle because you just don't use it, how much smaller it can get. Oh, hypertrophy means growth of the muscle. Thank you, Natalie. So that's the goal of a bodybuilder, right? Yeah. Thank you. All right. That's pretty short and sweet. once again, next slide, a lot of words. So I'm gonna, I probably truncated it a little bit, but well, at least the answers. There we go. What are the three main functions of the muscular system? So just make sure you read through all of them before you answer. Is it control of body functions, integration of body functions, and communication between body functions? Is it protection, temperature regulation, and sense organ activity? Is it movement, posture, or muscle tone and heat production? Or is it posture, temperature regulation, and sense of organ activity? Yes. All right. I'm going to close the poll. So it gave you a little bit longer because there's more to read here. But 72% movement, posture, or muscle tone and heat production. That would be the correct answer. Good job. A little bit of time there. Oh, that was the last muscle review question. Okay, so somebody said they tried submitting an answer, but it didn't go through. Was that just this time, or is it every time that you can't submit an answer? Okay, good. No problem. I wonder why. I don't know. A glitch in the giddy up. So hopefully I'm giving you enough time. I'm giving you a little bit extra time for this. Like I say, just a lot to write down if you're writing it down. So once again, that's it for muscle contraction review. And now I've got a few bone questions. Okay, we haven't really reviewed bones very much. I go over the bones and what you need to know, but there are a few questions on the midterm that deal with bones. So here, let's see how well you can answer these. 1, 2, 3, 4, like there's 4 of them, I'm going to say. What is not part of the pelvis? Okay, is it the femur, the pubis, the ischium, or the acetabulum? Not part of the pelvis. All right, 70% answered. So let's go ahead and finish up. We're going to close the poll. And 3, 2, 1, go. And all right, 73/4 of you said so. Pubis is part of the pelvis. So is ischium and acetabulum. It was a second place. So here is the pelvis. Okay. So know that the acetabulum, okay, is where the head of the femur fits in, and it is part of the pelvis. It's this kind of this concave space here where the head of the femur fits. Itself is obviously not part of the pelvis, okay? Pelvis being everything within this area. Okay, good. Hopefully you got that. Remember, acetabulum is part. By the way, every cell is crap of the pelvis. All right, that was fun. Now, next question. Which bone is the medial malleolus part of? Ooh, making me think here. Is it calcaneus, tibia, fibula, or talus? All right, how we doing? Good. So let's go ahead and finish up if you haven't. Nice. And all right. Oh, 50% is pretty, almost just a little over half. So that's okay. So let's look at this. The tibia, the medial malleolus is on the tibia. Okay, that's your inside part of your ankle. The lateral malleolus is on the fibula. Okay, and the third part of your ankle is the talus, which is part of your foot bones. All right, or your tarsals. Okay, good, nice. All right. Sorry, I have to. Yeah. Next question. Which is not found in the face or head? Is it zygomatic, maxilla, mandible, or talus? Hopefully this one's very obvious. I don't want to say that because somebody's not going to get it right and feel bad, but still. Most of you are getting it though. Right, let's go. I'm going to close the poll. And we got talus is 86%. Yes. Closing, hiding the results. It is the talus, part of the foot, not found in the face or head, right? Once again, that is a tarsal. All right. Is that, we got two more questions. Which is a depression in a bone? Is it fossa, condyle, spine, or meatus? Depression in a bone. Most of you are getting it. You guys are answering these quick. Our bones fun. Right. Going to close the poll. Thank you for answering, Corey. And 3/4 if you got it. Fossa. Fossa. All right. So fossa is a depression in a bone. Condyle is a rounded bump or large rounded prominence. All right. It fits into a fossa. All right. A spine. Spine is similar to a crest, but raised higher. The process attached connective tissue. And then meatus is a tube-like opening or channel existing within a bone. Right? So know that fossa is a depression in the bone. Good. All right, last but not least, close to least. What is the name for sesamoid bone located in the knee? All right, I want a very high percentage here. Is it femur, fibula, pedicle, or patella? You got it, Raquel. All right. How we doing? Getting up there. Go ahead. I'm going to close the poll because second one of the night, 100%. I'm so excited. Somebody asked what sesamoid bone is. I believe it's kind of like, I don't know if it's named after sesame seed, but it looks like it. Yeah, let's go. 2 in 1 night. I love it. So, I don't know if anybody else has any insight into sesamoid, what it means, but that's what I relate it to. Anyway, it's just a shape description. So it's just a shape description. Yeah, I think so. Oh, I didn't go to the last slide. See, you can kind of see it looks like kind of like a sesame seed, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, that's related. All right. It is 8 o'clock. I think we after such a wonderful job on the poll questions, we need another break. Let's go till 8:15. You guys good? I'll write it down. All right, everybody, we're back from break. 8:15. On my screen, and you guys ready for a review? Okay, so how we're going to do this review is I'm going to give you a question. I want you to answer it as best you can, and then I'm going to let you know what the answer is. All right. So yeah, make sure you take notes. Some of them you'll know, some of them you won't, but you know, write down the ones you don't know, maybe, or write down all of them. It's up to you, or screenshots or whatever, however you want to do it. All right, does anybody have anything to say, questions before we get started? Remember, the midterm is August 14th. So this is a structure review, and next Wednesday is the 10th. I will be doing a review of all of the systems besides the structure. Okay. So anyway, there we go. All right. What is a muscle that can entrap the sciatic nerve? And I definitely need you to participate. I know you can be writing it down, but just put something in there. Good, most of these have it. Oh. Yeah, guessing is okay too. But like I say, yeah, not sure it's science. Yeah. Yeah, this is not, you can only put 20 poll questions in this program. So to be able to do more, but I'm limited to 20, so I have to really choose what I can do as far as poll questions go. And sometimes I don't have enough. I wish I had more than 20. Sometimes 20 is anyway. All right. The answer is the piriformis. Okay, make sure you know the piriformis is the muscle that can entrap the sciatic nerve. Are there muscles that can entrap the sciatic nerve, or at least impinge on it? Yeah, but this one's the one that we want you to know about. All right. Frontally, I don't even know what that means. Stream Kahoot. I'm assuming it's a program, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. I obviously, if I don't know, then I'm guessing I can't. Oh, trivia program. Oh. No, I can't. Unfortunately, I can't even play a video on here without loading it first. Well, you can load a link to YouTube, I guess, and watch it, but it doesn't record in there. So I always like to have everything recorded. So if somebody's looking back, they can actually view it. Although some of you can't even view it while I'm playing it here anyway. Oh, I just realized I did the video for the second part of the video, but we'll do that if we have time. All right. Next question. This one hopefully is somewhat easy. What is the term for moving the limb toward the body? Or I do this. I do this. Hopefully that gives you the answer. See, now I've got audience participation, or student participation, I should say. I'm going to look up Kahoot anyway. Sartorius. All right. How are we doing? Cool. Most of you got it. Some of you were a little bit off, but this is why we're reviewing. We're looking for adduction. Adduction. Okay. Add to the body, right? Move it in. Okay, and if you got that one, what is the term for the moving the limb away from the body? So in terms of special notes, know that this is a review, so all of these are special notes. I don't have them highlighted, but you know where we are reviewing. Yes, look at that. One right after another, beautiful. Everybody's got it, this answer. And if you're not, how come? Yeah, you can do abductions. This would be abductions, right? Yeah, obviously I just gave the answer, so I might as well just move on from there. Abduction, or as you know, to make it clear, you can say abduction. Abduction. Not to get mixed up with abduction. All right. Now, hopefully all of you will get this one too. What is the structure that binds bone to bone? Binds bone to bone. Crystal, the joint is actually part of two bones coming together, right? What would bind those joints? You're covering your bases, David. You got both of them there, right? We're looking for ligament. All right, ligament binds bone to bone. Yes, Naomi, I will go back after this question. Thank you. All right, make sure you know that ligaments bind bone to bone. Okay, I'm going to go back one real quick. Somebody asked me to go back. And there's that. You know when you have it. Okay. Got that. All right. Now a action question. Hold on, let me erase. What action does pectineus, tensor fascia lata, and rectus femoris have in common? Think about what each one does in relationship to the other one. What specific action, Eric? You got the area correct. Do they, Nancy? Do they? Thank you for answering, even if you answer not sure. I accept that as an answer. So people that aren't answering, answer that if you're not sure. I don't care. This is why we're going over them. All right. So a number of you got it right, and good. I appreciate it. And those of you who didn't, make sure you know the pectineus, tensor fascia lata, and rectus femoris flex the femur at the hip. Yeah. What action? So if you think about every question on the midterm, I believe every question is multiple choice. Just like I've given out on so many reviews, there will be 4 answers. Okay, so in this case, it might be a question of name the muscle that does not flex the femur at the hip. It will list these 3 and then list another muscle. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Good. A couple of yeses. Okay, oh, I have a question. Hold on to get to it. Extension, no, it's flexion, the femur at the hip, not extension. Should I have put at the hip with flexion? Yes, Azalea. This is where you would find the actions. That is correct. Is the illustrated essentials of musculoskeletal anatomy. Why, this book right here. Okay. Okay. Now, what is the origin and insertion of gracilis? People are frantically reaching for their chart that we fill out every week, right? That way I don't have an answer yet. Very good, Gabby. Nice job, Eric. Okay, bye. Nice, Miriam, Stephanie. Ooh, is it? All right, how we doing? Okay, I just had to double check because somebody said pubic symphysis, and that would, it kind of made me think, because pubic symphysis is the connective tissue between the pubis. So not quite, it's really close. In the book, it says inferior ramus of anterior pubis, but we're really just looking for anterior pubis and then medial tibia. No problem. Woohoo. Yeah, that's once again the pubic symphysis is the one that softens, get all the hormones for when you're pregnant, and so that would not be good for the gracilis. Softens all the connective tissue, but it softens that to open up the pelvis so you can let that baby on out. All right. What group of muscles includes the talus? Group of muscles. Specific group of muscles. Oh, yeah, different group, Eric, and a little bit more specific, Carolyn. Oh, yeah, what group of bones? I beg your pardon. I did say muscles, didn't I? What group of bones includes the talus? In my head, I'm saying bones. It just came out. Sorry. Yes, correct, Eric. You got it. All right. Good. Anybody else want to give it a shot? No? Yes? Yes. There we go. Okay. Some people said foot, but I want to be more specific. Tarsals. Okay. The group of bones. Remember, you got tarsals, metatarsals, phalanges. Tarsals are the group of bones. I'm sorry. Yeah. Tarsals are the group of bones that the talus is part of. Just know that the talus is part of the tarsals. It's okay. Oh, you're thinking of, yeah, some people said the ankle, because the talus is part, the three bones that make the ankle, but the group of bones, you see what I'm saying, right? I hope. Okay. Next question. All right. What are the two actions of gastrocnemia? Nice job, Natalie. Good job, Eric. Alexandra, Jaden, Teresa, Naomi. Yeah, more specific, Naomi, really. And then we'll get there. It's okay. Not quite, Carlos. Good. Couple more people. And so you're going to give it a shot. I'll specifically say a couple of names that I just like to pick on. Who else? Yeah. Okay. All right. And if you're not going to play, fine. Not really, but you know. Who else? All right. Here we go. It is flexion of the knee and plantar flexion of the ankle. Good. All right. Since we're picking on gastrocnemius, what is the origin of gastrocnemius? Yeah. So, June, that it would be better to say plantar flexion of the ankle. You usually want to say the bone that the action is doing, even though I don't know of any other place that you plantar flex besides the ankle. It's still just like you can say the greater trochanter, you would want to say greater trochanter of the femur, even though that's the only place that I know of that there is a greater trochanter. All right. Let's see how we doing. I didn't name names of who answered it first. Who was the first person? Carolyn. Good job. Sorry, I was in this question. Denver. Okay. And so let's see. I'm going to say over 50% of answers. So that's good. Sorry, June. I'm not looking for the insertion. I mean, it's good that you added it, but yeah, just the origin. Lateral and medial epicondyles of the femur. Somebody said condyles, and remember, epicondyles are just above the condyles. I knew you knew I was kidding with you, June. Good job. All right. Make sure you get that. A lot of information. I think this is like, well, let's see, there's 32 answers here. So this is a good third of the midterm is structure. So a lot of stuff, if you know it. I'll take the extra credit here. Good job. All right, next question. What are the two primary actions of biceps femoris or femoris? Two primary actions. All right, how we doing? I'm sorry, I was looking it up actually. Good. It's good that you know what it moves, but yeah, try and be as specific as you can. And all right, I'm going to give you the answer. It is extension of the femur and flexion of the knee. And sorry, I was looking it up because somebody answered the other answer, which is lateral rotation of tibia when knee is flexed, and that is an action. But the two primary ones I'm looking for are these two. Good job in being really specific, though, for those of you who did. This is what you need to know for the midterm. It's the key. All right. All right. We went over this, I know. Ligaments connect bone to bone. What is a function of ligaments? Good. Nice. Very good. Most of you are getting the key word that I'm looking for. So, very good. So I'm specifically looking for the word stabilize, all right, which almost all of you answered. Ligaments stabilize joints. That is a function of ligaments. All right, here's a big one. 3 actions of semimembranosis. That's one, Alexandra, good job. And this one's a lot. Oh, I'm sorry, Crystal. Okay. I'm going to say the majority of you answered at least all or part of it. The three I'm looking for are extension of the femur, flexion of the knee, and medial rotation of flex knee. Yeah, long answer, exactly. Very long answer. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of time on that one then. The good thing is the next one is fairly short, so, but I can go back if you need me to. All right, are we good? Everybody good? Yes, I got a couple of yeses and a thumbs up. I'm going to take that as yes. Here we go. What is the name for the sesamoid bone located at the knee? We just went over this, didn't we? Good one, June. All right. Here we go. It is the patella. Good job. What is the muscle? What muscle group can be found in the posterior femoral group? We went over this, I'm pretty sure. Oh, most people are answer correct. So, Rachel, posterior, not anterior. Other side. Same thing. Yeah, you got it. Few people are saying quadriceps, and once again, that would be the anterior side. So we're looking for the posterior side, which would be the hamstring. Deep lateral rotators of the femur. I like it. Okay. What's next? What is the insertion of gluteus medius? Insertion of gluteus medius. Okay, so somebody asked me how, if you would include the bone, I would. Nobody has yet. Oh, there we go. Raquel got it. And then everybody, now that I said it, everybody's putting it on. Nice. You're all getting it. It's good. Oh, thank you for adding it, Gabby. I see that. Very specific, Azalea. Good. We're just really looking for the greater trochanter of the femur. All right, we just did kind of the bone review. So the next question is, or a bone question, define fascia. Give me what fascia is. Ah, you're right, it is, but it's so close to 9 o'clock. So close. Come on, give me a break, a little bit of a break. It's been a long day. I got up early to stop in and get a blood test for a doctor's visit. And I didn't realize that they didn't send it in. I was supposed to print it out and bring it in with me. So I went in there for nothing. It's summer. Anyway. Yeah, it's okay. But now I have a new appointment. Luckily, I did it early enough that I have time to do it. All right, good deal. Very good. I'm looking for, most of you said it, depression in a bone. Yeah, it wouldn't have been so bad had I not had waited so long just to get in for them to tell me that they're not going to do anything. All right. Oh, we're halfway through. I don't know how long we. Oh, I guess we started at like 8:15. So, yeah, we will finish. What is the origin and insertion of the piriformis? I did it again. Sorry, Rachel. Nice. Oh. Oh, so close, Natalie. Good. Nice. Yes. Yes, that is correct. You got it. All right. I'm going to say majority of you have answered. So good. We're looking for anterior sacrum and greater trochanter of the femur. Nice. It's okay. Just as long as you know it now. Yeah. Okay. As long as we're a little bit over halfway, is everybody doing okay with this pace? Am I going too slow, too fast? Oh, just right? Mama bear, Papa bear, baby bear? Good. Okay. Nobody's saying too fast or too slow, just right. Okay, good. Thank you. You guys are doing great. Really good. Thank you for, once again, thank you for your participation. Describe plantar flexion of the ankle. Good. Jaden first. Nice. Very good. Ooh, other way, Corey. Yeah. It's so interesting how many different ways are there to describe plantar flexion of the ankle. But most of you have definitely got it. Oh, you had it correct. Nope, not opposite, but exactly that. We're looking at pointing, toes pointing towards the ground, like as many of you put, like a ballerina. That is plantar flexion. Imagine planting your toes in plantar flexion. Good. Thank you. That was awesome. Everybody describing it a little bit differently, or most of you. What is the insertion of biceps femoris? Insertion. I should say insertions of biceps femoris. Oh, wait. Nice correction, Ruby, but oh wait, nice catch. All right, good. A couple more people need to answer here. That's okay. That's a good answer if you don't know. Nice. Now some people said ischial tuberosity, all right, which would be the origin or the stable part that's holding on, and the part that moves is the insertion, right? So head of fibula and lateral condyle of the tibia. It's okay. Okay. Officially 9 o'clock, yawn time. Although I'm already ahead of the game. Which bone is the medial malleolus part of? I just asked this question a little bit ago. medial malleolus. Good. All right. Oh, not quite, Samantha. We're looking for the tibia. The tibia is where the medial malleolus is. Remember, medial malleolus is the tibia, the lateral malleolus is the fibula, and then the talus makes up the third part of the ankle. Okay. Good. All right. Once again, this should be plural, two different ones. What is the insertions of gluteus maximus? Insertions. Yes, you know, the groove thing. It's funny. Nice. Yeah, you guys are getting it. Good. Couple more people. Mm-hmm. I think that's okay. You're not sure, now you are, because the answer is the gluteal tuberosity of the femur, or the gluteal groove thing of the femur, you know, depending on how you think, and then iliotibial tract of the tibia. Thanks, Eric, you made my night. Very nice. Okay, now let's see if you get this one. Hopefully you do. Think quadriceps. Which one of the quadriceps crosses two joints? What specific muscle? Corey, Jaden, Matthew, and Natalie. Nice job. Raquel, Alexandra, Eric, Teresa, Nicole, Marion. That, Gabby, that's not part of the quadriceps muscle. Naomi, Cynthia, good job. It's okay. Carolyn, June. Oh, other side, Rachel. It's the second time tonight you've backed to that wrong. It's okay. Bye. Good job. The refers to lower. Okay, that might be a typo. It's okay. Okay, looks like we've got enough answers for me to show you rectus femoris. Okay, it crosses two joints. It's the only one. Remember, all of the others connect onto the femur and come down across to the knee. Okay, rectus femoris is the only one that crosses the hip. Make sure you know that. Yeah, I figured it out correct. This is a good one. All right. What are the three bones that make up the pelvis? Alexandra came in first. Nice job. Eric, Nicole is good. Miriam, kind of. Maybe a little autocorrect. Rachel, you're, yeah, well, I'll go over it. It's okay. So iliotibial tract would not be a bone. It's a connects muscle to bone. Yeah, you think so. Autocorrect slows down answering. All right. Okay, here we go. So ilium, ischium, and pubis is what I was looking for, which what a bunch of you answered, and some of you meant to, I think. And know that the acetabulum is the concave surface of the pelvis, so it is part of the pelvis, if you remember the bone review. Got it. Good job. Lost my mouse. Okay, an easy one. I'll throw you a softball here. What does the prefix ab mean? Good. Jaden, Carolyn, Ruby, and we're after the races. Everybody's answering now. Good job. Nice. I'll take it, Natalie. Good. Not quite, Nina. Nice. Good. Okay. Very good. Yes. The word I was looking for is away. Yeah. All right. Let's see if you can get this. All right. I'm looking for two muscles that insert onto the iliotibial tract, or two muscles. That's one, Alexandra. one specific glute. Eric. Natalie, wrong glute. Good. Some of you are getting it. Nice job. You got one of them, Rachel. Which is the other? Nice. Good job. All right. No idea. That's okay. So pelvis would not be a muscle. You did it, Azalea. All right. I'm looking for specifically tensor fascia lata and gluteus maximus. Maximum. I just realized it. I've had that there for I don't know how long, and I just now noticed. Close enough. You can get the idea, hopefully. Oh, I'm getting tired. All right. A little punch drunk here. Okay. Now I'm gonna throw you a curveball here. At this late hour. What four muscles abduct the femur at the hip? Good. All right. Nice pull back there, Eric. All right. Okay, so I'm going to give you gluteus minimus, gluteus medius. Gluteus minimus, gluteus medius. Okay, tensor fascia lata. Those are the three that we teach in circulatory that abduct the femur. What's the fourth? What is the fourth one? Nice job, Nicole. Who else said it? Eric, you got it. That's correct. Not piriformis, but kind of. No, it doesn't sound like. Good job, Raquel. Very good. Chantal, you got it. All right, nice. I'm going to give it to you. And Cynthia, and I think Miriam, but didn't quite spell right. Sartorius. So tensor fascia lata, gluteus minimus, medius, and sartorius. That one made you think, didn't it? They did say gluteus minimus, yeah. All right. Sartorius. So funny. Okay. Which muscle tendon form the Achilles tendon? What muscle tendon? What muscle? I guess there's more than one, so that's why. But it's okay. Muscle tendon. Muscle tendon. Yeah, I guess that's right. Seems odd. All right, good. You guys are getting it. Anybody else? Yeah, it is the Achilles tendon, calcaneal tendon, fine. But what muscles create it? Remember, their tendons come down and create the surrounding tissue comes around, creates the tendon. What muscles? Good. Most of you got it. And it's okay if you don't know, that's fine. It is gastrocnemius and soleus. In fact, some people say that they're the same muscle, but you know, we won't go there. All right, we're getting there. Almost done. So many questions, right? What? Name 2 actions of gluteus maximus. Good. Nice job, Eric. Nice job, Rachel. Teresa. Miriam. Oh, on down. You guys are nice. Not quite Crystal. All right. External femur and lateral rotation of extended hip. Okay. I need to change the wording on the next question because it's not right. So it should say name 1 group of muscles and 2 other muscles that flex the knee. Oh, I'm sorry. And it says name 3 muscles, but it's really 1 group of muscles and then 2 specific muscles, if that makes sense. Sorry. Good, Rachel, you got the group. Other side, Marion. Other side, Crystal. There you go. Not Sartorius. Well, it might assist, but I don't know, honestly. Oh, I'm getting quite a mix of answers. I'm glad I asked. Oh, it is Sartorius. So I'm so sorry. Wow. I'm looking sideways. Whoever I said Sartorius wasn't correct, I am so sorry. Sartorius is correct. I didn't mean to scare you. I didn't. So yes, hamstrings is the group of muscles, gastrocnemius and Sartorius. My apologies for that. Oh, I'm not sure. I know obviously it adducts, but I don't know if it helps. If gracilis, does gracilis help with knee flexion? Right now I'm drawing a blank. I just was on that page too. It does assist in knee flexion, yeah. Oh, hold on. Okay, wait a second. What happened? Oh boy. Hold on. The sound is not, I think one of my, sorry, I think are you there? Can you hear me? I don't know what happened here. Oh, my camera, webcam. All right. I'm losing my camera. I'm not sure why. Okay, well, sorry. I don't know what happened to my camera. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Let's go through this. Connection just logged me off. Yeah, I did. And then whenever I do try to bring up the camera, it gives me an error message. So I'd rather get through this. We're almost done with this. What is a common insertion point of the adductor group of muscles? The adductors. Good job, Teresa and Gabby. Yes, Eric, correct. Crystal, Raquel, good. Excuse me. Oh, the cough. Okay. Most of you are getting it. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I'm going to fix this. All right. The answer is, I'm so sorry, linea aspera of the femur. If you didn't get that. All right. Next question. What muscle braces the knee when walking? This one is a tough one, as far as I'm concerned. Good guess, Corey, but not the one I'm looking for. So you've got to think of what's connected to the IT band. I'll give you that hint. You got it, Eric. Yeah, now I said that, and it makes hopefully a little bit more sense. Tensor fascial lata. The muscle braces the knee when walking. Okay. Guess what? We've got one more. Last one. 927. What is the common origin of vastus lateralis and vastus medialis? Nice job, Gabby, Naomi, Corey, Raquel, Samantha. Nice. Cynthia, June, Rachel. Good job. Good correction, Eric. And anybody else? Yeah, specifically all right, I'm just going to give it to you here. Linea aspera of the femur. Many of you got it. Good job. All right. Phew. Isn't it? All right. With that being said, let me go ahead, and I should have had this up ahead of time. Oops. Go there. And I'm going to bring up exam coach. Oh, wait, you know what I didn't do, and I promised I would, and I almost forgot again, is show the last, what do you think, exam coach or the second crash course video? I'm thinking second video. All right, here we go.
You've probably heard somebody refer to a really difficult, onerous task as the heavy lifting. Or maybe when someone else tells you that you have to do hard work on your own, they'll say, you can't have somebody else do your push-ups for you. So yeah, often when we're talking about hard work that we just don't want to do, we use metaphors that involve the skeletal muscles. And yeah, that's their reputation. They're what you use to perform all of the necessary but sometimes unpleasant brute force exertions that life requires of us. But they do a lot more than just heavy lifting. Your skeletal muscles, 640 in all, come in all different shapes and sizes, from the longest, the Sartorius in your upper thigh, to the biggest, the gluteus maximus in your butt, to the tiniest, the stapedius in your middle ear, which I've been doing my best to work out lately, but I just can't get any definition. These organs are capable of a whole range of power and duration, as well as surprising and delicate subtlety. The same muscles you might use to pluck an eyebrow, or catch a firefly, or cuddle a kitten, can in other circumstances crush cans, or punch holes in walls, or do a bunch of push-ups. Which, by the way, are not really a thing. And she's gonna prove it. That's right, I'm gonna have somebody do my push-ups for me. Now, when you look at how the muscular system moves, you gotta keep two things in mind. First, muscles never push, they always pull. Now, how can that be, since Claire here is obviously pushing herself up? Well, remember that most skeletal muscles extend over joints to connect to at least two different bones. That's why they're skeletal. When a muscle contracts, the bone that moves is called the muscle's insertion point, and the muscle brings the insertion closer to the bone that doesn't move, or at least moves less, and that's called the muscle's origin. And that movement is always a pull, with the insertion bone being drawn toward the origin bone. And when you think about it, it has to be this way. Muscles can't, like, extend themselves beyond their resting state to push a bone away from it, so even though Claire's pushing herself up off the ground in an exercise we call push-ups, her muscles are actually pulling their insertions toward their origins. When she pushes herself up, her pectoralis major is contracting, pulling its insertion point, which in this case is the top of her humerus, toward the immobile origin, which is her sternum. Every single movement that your skeleton makes uses the very same principle, whether you're hammering on an anvil or lifting your pinky to sip a cup of tea. So that's the first thing. The second big thing to remember about skeletal muscles is that whatever one muscle does, another muscle can undo. You can generally classify skeletal muscles into 4 functional groups depending on the movement being performed. For example, the muscles that are mainly responsible for producing a certain movement are called that motion's prime movers, or agonist muscles. So when Claire does jumping jacks, she's using those pectorals in her chest and latissimus dorsi on her back to adduct her arms back down to her sides. Put another way, those are her prime mover muscles for adduction. At the same time, there are antagonist muscles that are working in reverse of that particular movement by staying relaxed or stretching or contracting just enough to keep those prime movers from overextending. So in this case, the antagonists of the jumping jacks would include the deltoids on top of her shoulders, which among other things help her slow down her arms so that she doesn't slap her thighs too hard. But when it's time to start abducting her arms from her side to over her head, those deltoids now become the primary movers, while the pecs and lats switch to being antagonists. The third functional muscle group is your synergists, and they help the prime movers usually either by lending them a little extra oomph or by stabilizing joints against dislocation. With all these arm movements, most of the rotator cuff muscles, like the teres minor or the infraspinatus, are acting like synergists. So this is how skeletal muscles are functionally grouped, but what about their actual functions? As individual organs, how do they contract to create both quick and sustained movements and to regulate force? How can Claire's hands gently pet this corgi in one moment and then crush a can in another? I got 2 words for you. Motor units. A motor unit is a group of muscle fibers that all get their signals from the same single motor neuron. Since all those fibers listen to only one neuron, they act together as a unit. In a big power-generating muscle like your rectus femoris in your quad, each of 1,000 or so motor neurons may synapse with and innervate 1,000 muscle fibers. Those 1,000 fibers together form a large motor unit, and big units are typically found in muscles that perform big, not very delicate movements, like walking and squatting and drop-kicking. But other muscles, like the ones that control your eyes and fingers, which exert fine motor control, may have just a handful of muscle fibers connected to a single motor neuron. Those relationships are small motor units. And when a motor unit, no matter how large or small, responds to a single action potential, those fibers quickly contract and release in what we call a twitch. And every tiny twitch has 3 distinct phases. To understand which happens when, we gotta go back to the sliding filament model. Immediately after a muscle fiber is stimulated by a nerve, when calcium ions are flooding into into the sarcomeres to pull away those two protein bodyguards of tropomyosin and troponin from the actin, that's called the latent period. The stimulus has arrived, but no force is being produced. That's when the action is just starting. Then comes a brief period of contraction when the myosin heads are binding and pulling and releasing over and over, and the muscle fibers contract. But soon the fiber slides back down into the relaxation period when the calcium gets pumped back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum and the actin and myosin stop the binding cycle and the muscle relaxes. Each phase consists of a lot of little steps, and while you couldn't tell by watching my brother dance, the fact is that our muscular movements are pretty smooth. That's because one muscle can produce a variation of smooth forces called graded muscle responses, and they're generally affected by both the frequency and strength with which they're stimulated. So say Claire's trying to lift something heavy, like a paint can. Just as the volume of a sound corresponds to the frequency of action potentials from your ear to your brain, her brain gets her muscles to increase their force by increasing the frequency with which her motor neurons are firing. It's like pushing a button over and over again really fast. Lift! You can do it! Feel the burn! Or whatever. And the faster these nerve impulses fire, the stronger each successive twitch gets, since the muscle doesn't get a chance to relax in between. Because remember, the relaxation period of a twitch is when the calcium is being pumped back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. If another action potential travels down before that can happen, even more calcium gets released, which ends up exposing more actin for myosin to bind to, and that means more force in that fiber. In this way, twitches end up adding to each other as they get closer together in time, and that's what we call temporal summation. At some point, though, almost all of the actin binding sites are exposed, so all of the myosin heads can work through their cycles of ATP and ADP, and the muscle force can't increase anymore, even with faster action potentials and more calcium. When all those little twitches blend together until they feel like one gigantic contraction, that's called tetanus. At that point, any person on the planet will hit a ceiling of maximum tension. That tension means myosin and the calcium pumps are burning up the muscle cell's ATP, and the finite supply of ATP is what makes it impossible to maintain vigorous muscle activity indefinitely. Prolonged contraction leads to muscle fatigue, and when your muscles just can't take it anymore, all that tension crashes to zero. And remember, all of this twitching happens in individual motor units. Since twitches are driven by action potentials, and action potentials only have one intensity, frequency is the only way to create a grade of force. But when we zoom out to the complete muscle of maybe 1,000 motor units, we can increase the strength of the stimulus by sending action potentials to more motor units. If amping up frequency is like hitting a button again and again, then increasing the signal strength is like smashing the whole keyboard with your forehead. Since multiple action potentials don't travel down all the motor neurons at exactly the same time, each motor unit twitches at slightly different times, which helps smooth out the twitchiness. So contractions intensify as your motor neurons stimulate more and more muscle fibers. This is a process called recruitment, or multiple motor unit summation, and it's where some of your muscle's more nuanced abilities come in. So let's say Claire is holding Abby. She wants to hold on to her tight so that Abby doesn't fall, but not too tight, right? So to increase the contraction force and tighten her grip, she can recruit another motor unit. Recruiting one with 20 fibers will firm her grasp, but calling on one with 1,000 fibers might... well, let's not think about that too much. Lucky for our corgi friend, this recruitment doesn't escalate at random. It follows what's known as a size principle. It starts when the smallest motor units with the smallest fibers are activated by your most excitable neurons. Then some larger motor units with larger fibers are enlisted, increasing the strength of contraction. And finally, if you want to give it all you got, which you don't in Abby's case, your largest motor units with your biggest muscle fibers will get involved. These big guns are the last to join up, in part because they're controlled by your largest and least excitable motor neurons. But when they're in, they are all in, packing 50 times the force of those smaller fibers. So the basic rule is the more motor units recruited, the greater the force that's generated. Now that we know how muscle contractions happen, let's look at our two main flavors, isotonic and isometric. Say I want to pick up my crash course mug. Well, I can do this workout myself. If the temporal and recruitment summation triggers enough muscle tension in my arm to overcome the weight of the load and lift the mug, changing the length of the muscles involved during contraction, then that is an isotonic movement. Now if I tried to pick up a building, I could contract my muscles all I wanted and develop a lot of tension without actually changing the muscle's length, in which case I'd be experiencing isometric contractions, and possibly a hernia. Which is why I asked Claire to do all the heavy lifting in this episode. Today, you learned how skeletal muscles work together to create and reverse movements. We also talked about the role size plays in motor units, the three-phase cycle of muscle twitches, and how the strength and frequency of an impulse affects the strength and duration of a contraction. Finally, we discussed summation versus tetanus and isotonic versus isometric movements. No corgis were harmed in the making of this video. Thank you to our headmaster of learning, Thomas Frank, and all of our
just wanted to make sure that he got in that no corgis were harmed in this making of this video. I don't know. Anyway, so that is it. It's still a little bit early, so let's do a nervous system crash course because I really want to, and see how you guys are doing on your homework. All right, let me maybe make this a little bit bigger. There you go. Which part of the brain stem contains the vital centers? Okay, so this is really, or we can just guess, or if you know, really know, put an exclamation point. I got a bunch of A, C, and then all of a sudden a bunch of B's, and now, so I have everything. Vital centers. A. I meant to click on A, and then of course, you know, B. So, oh, sure, now you say A. Thank you, June. All right. What is of the following are not specifically sensory receptors? Rods and cones of the retina, taste buds, cochlear hair cells, or Golgi tendon organs? I'm finding I'm going to say, nope, not C. Yes, D. D. Good job. What is the mid layer of the meninges? Dura matter, arachnoid matter, pia matter, or glia matter? I think it's glia matter. I don't know, could be wrong. I know that Denise is definitely going to go over this. And I'm going to say, oh, a exclamation point. All right, I've got to say B. Yep, arachnoid matter. Very good. Good job. The space between pre and postsynaptic neurons is A vesicle, B treble cleft, C interneural gap, or C synaptic cleft. Wow. There are so many different choices here. I want to say D, synaptic cleft. Ah, great job. The nerve supplied to a muscle, organ, or tissue is its neural component, innervation, intervention, or axon terminal. Nerve supply to a muscle. We're all over the place. I'm going to say B. All right. Good job for the people that said B. Nice. The process of incoming information and generation of response is the branchial function, efferent activity, integrative function, or periodic function. Few B's, probably more C's. I'm going to say C because that's definitely the majority. Yes, got it. Good job. Look at that. We're on a roll. The occipital lobe, basal ganglia, and corpus callosum are all part of the limbic system, cortex, cerebrum, or brainstem. Some D, some C, some B. Nobody's saying A. So, oh man, it's close between B. I'm going to say C. Yes, look at that. Good job, everybody. Activation of the nociceptors usually result in anger, heat sensation, perception of pain, or anesthesia. Activation of nociceptors. All right, I was going to say C. There's a bunch of B's, but really, I think C. Yes, perception of pain. Very good. All right, two more in this. I want to go to pathology also. The most anterior part of the cerebral cortex that lies beneath the frontal lobe is the temporal lobe, cingulate, I don't know, olfactory bulb, or frontal lobe. Okay. Bunch of D. They have like D's. Okay. D. Nice. Look at that. Awesome. And last but not least, an area of the brain that houses the thalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus, metathalamus, and pineal gland is called the prosencephalon, cerebral cortex, medulla, or diencephalon. Ooh. I'm seeing, let's see, bunch of B and C. I'm going to say B. Nope. C. Nope. Oh, look at that. How many people said D? All right. Good job, Cynthia. You did. Nice. All right. That is, what do we get? 70%. Pretty good. All right. Let's go back and go to nervous system. Oh, wait. No, wait. Go to pathology in nervous system. Let's see how we do on that one. Sorry. Last quiz, and then we'll call it a night. Only 10 questions, real quick. Strokes are caused by electrical brainstorms, damage to the dendrites, sensory nerves, dimensionation of motor and sensory neurons, or blocked blood flow or hemorrhage. Wow, almost universal D. Yes, good job. Cortisol is a antidiuretic hormone, stress-related chemical, recovery-related chemical, or growth hormone. Let's say stress-related chemical. Nice. Good job. Inflammation of the brain is called craniolitis, meningitis, encephalitis, or myelitis. Uh, encephalitis. What do we got? Bunch of C and B. I want to say B, but I think there's more C. Yes, you guys are smarter than I am. Nice job. A treatment goal for nerve compression is to A, increase the release of cortisol, reduce muscle tension, decrease somatic awareness, or conduct a nerve conduction test. Goal for nerve compression. B, and there are a couple of C's. We're gonna say, I'm gonna say B, yes. You guys are on it. Carpal tunnel syndrome is the irritation of which nerve passing through the wrist? Annular, ulnar, median, or radial? All right. D, there's some B. Nope. Median. I'm sorry. It was close. An epidermal hematoma is an accumulation of blood between what and what? Dura mater and arachnoid, matter and skull, right and left hemisphere, or spinal column and vertebrae. Epidermal hematoma. E. Nope. B. It was, yeah. So the dura mater and the skull. Next question. Primary headache side effect of many medications associated with other diseases include skin sinus headache, a side effect of peripheral neuropathy, or not associated with other diseases that include tension headaches and migraines. Relationship problems. Okay. I'm going to say D is, yep, not associated with other diseases include tension, headaches, and migraines. Well, they do. And maybe C, not associated, must be relationship problems. Yep. All right, two more. Inflammation and trigeminal nerve causes trigeminal neuralgia, trigeminal palsy, trigeminal malformation, or trigeminal encephalitis. E-D-A-C. I'm going to say A is probably the biggest answer. Yes, I think we're nailing this one. We're going to pass this test. Two more. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis is best described as a congenital disease of dura mater, a neurodegenerative disease of vestibuloquiolar nerve, a congenitive disease of spinal cord, or a neurodegenerative disease of the motor neurons of the brain. I think wow, we're all over the place. I do see there's some C's. But I want to say D, but there's too many C's for me to ignore. I'm going to give it a shot with C. Yeah, C. I should have went with my gut on that one. Yeah. Awful, awful, awful disease. Last question. Epilepsy is caused by these types of disturbances in the brain: venous, arterial, rhythmic, or electrical. Thank you. That's nice of you to say, but not true necessarily. I'm going to say electrical. Yes. I still at 70%. I think is pretty good, being that we haven't really even had the class yet. All right, we're going to call it. I think that's awesome. You guys did a great job tonight. Good night. Have a wonderful week, and on Sunday. Good night. Good night, everyone. Go ahead and sign out. So much writing. All right, everybody. I am going to end this webinar. If you haven't signed out, you're going to be soon. So have a good week.